Match of the season, 1971-72. Halifax Town 2, Manchester United 1. Watney Cup first round, the 31st of July 1971. Sponsorship came to British soccer with the advent of multi-money competitions such as the Watney Invitation Cup and Texaco Cup for a short spell in the early 1970s. The Watney Cup, as it was more simply known, had been inaugurated in 1970 and was open to the two highest scoring clubs from each division, which neither qualified for Europe or gained promotion. In 1971, Halifax Town qualified for the competition by finishing third in Division 3, having scored 74 goals, with Wrexham ninth joining them, having netted 72. The reward for their free-scoring exploits was a plum home tie with First Division Manchester United, a game that kicked off a new series of BBC's Match of the Day. United had finished a disappointing 8th, but were still one of the biggest names in world football. However, despite winning the European Cup only 3 years earlier, their side was generally regarded as being past its peak. In an attempt to bring back the glory days, they had recruited Franco Farrell from Leicester City as manager, but this was his first game in charge. This Manchester United side still contained many star names, not least the Holy Trinity of Dennis Law, George Best and Bobby Charlton, and they all played in this game. The folk of Halifax were not used to being in such illustrious company, so they turned up in numbers with thousands of United followers, a minority of which terrorised the town centre. The game produced a crowd of 19,765. This figure has never been bettered since at the Shea. It was a day the town fans will never forget. Bill Atkins's glancing header gave the Shaymen the lead after only 3 minutes. But in the 25th minute, Willie Morgan missed the chance to equalise when Alex Smith saved his penalty kick. A minute later, Bob Wallace succeeded where Morgan had failed by converting his penalty. David Sadler had later felled Lammy Robertson in the box to make it 2-0. United reduced the arrears with the game's third penalty. George Best taking his time responsively after Tony Rhodes had brought him down, but the Shaymen held out for a memorable win. Defeat for United, however, did not seem to worry them unduly. They stormed the First Division and looked likely championship contenders before burning up dramatically after the turn of the year. For Town, this was as good as it got this season, though no one knew at the time manager George Kirby was entering his last week here as manager before heading for Watford. His last game in charge was a 2-0 defeat in the semi-final against a no-nonsense West Bromwich Albion side. Halifax Town team that day: Smith in goal, Bergin, Lee, Wallace, Pickering, Rhodes, Chadwick, Atkins, Robertson, Leonard and Holmes. Manchester United's team that day: Alex Stepney, Fitzpatrick, Dunn, Crerand, who was replaced by Burns, James, Sadler, Morgan, Gowlin, replaced by Brian Kidd, Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law and George Best.